Zayd said, please talk about the danger of speaking about Allah's deen without or with little knowledge. This is a problem nowadays. With the social media, everybody wants to be famous. And it is unfortunate when someone wants to become famous on the account of Islam. And therefore you find people who do not possess knowledge. They don't have knowledge of the Quran and the Sunnah. Yes, they heard a fatwa from here and there, but this doesn't make them students of knowledge or researchers or scholars. And yet they want to be famous, well known, prominent. You end up finding them sitting in a masjid, giving a speech. And if a person only talks about the things he knows, that's great. But the problem is when you speak without knowledge. Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned in chapter 7, Surah Al-A'raf, ayah number 33. And let me read the translation because I do not know the translation. Quran.com. So it is 7:33. I have the ayah in Arabic, but failed to find it in English, which is okay, now we have it. So Allah says in this beautiful ayah the 4 categories of things that are haram. So Allah says, say, my Lord has only forbidden open and secret indecencies. قل إنما حرم ربي الفواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن. Number 2, sinfulness, unjust aggression, والإثم والبغي بغير الحق. Thirdly, associating others with Allah in worship. A practice has never been authorized. And fourthly, attributing to Allah what you do not know. Attributing to Allah what you do not know. Speaking in Allah's religion without knowledge. I think that this issue is haram. No, I think this is okay. Who are you to think, akhi? I remember 36 years ago, I used to call Sheikh bin Baz bin Uthaymeen and Sheikh Abu Bakr al-Jazairi and Sheikh Hassan Ayyub. Those were the 4 known scholars at my time at the time. I used to call them every single day with a pad with questions that I write throughout the day when I read books. And I ask them. So I remember once I asked Sheikh Hassan, may Allah have mercy on his soul, about the ruling on making diamonds prohibited for men, according to the analogy that gold is forbidden for men to wear. So diamonds are more expensive and more feminine. So I said, can we make it haram as well? And the guy bursted in my face, saying, who are you to say, can we make diamonds haram as well? Who are you to have a we, to say we? You're nothing. You're not anything. Analogy, qiyas, has men, scholars who take care of it, who looks into it, who study and research, not people randomly coming and speaking in the religion of Allah without knowledge. That was an eye-opener for me. It was like cold water being poured over my body, thinking that he's right. We don't have the authority to speak out of our own whims and desires because we do not possess the necessary tools that make us scholars. If you don't know Arabic, classical Arabic, with the sciences of it, you cannot be called a scholar. If you don't know the tafsir of the Quran, if you don't know usul al-fiqh, if you don't know the fiqh according to the 4 schools of thought and how to compare them, if you don't know the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, which is weak and which is authentic and how to authenticate it, and you don't know the meaning of the hadith according to the interpreters of the hadith among the scholars in the different books, if you don't, or if you had not spent long years studying with scholars from their knowledge and from their etiquette and their behavior, you cannot be a scholar. So definitely speaking about Islam with minimal knowledge is fatal. I see some of the brothers either so open to speak without knowledge that they are on social media now known as da'is. And in contrast, there are students of knowledge who are well based and educated, refusing to appear or to teach, saying that no, we still have more to learn, we want to do, and they are almost scholars. This is how shaitan mess up with their minds, both sides. Akhi, if you have knowledge, perfect knowledge in what you know, yes, go ahead and teach it. But if you don't have knowledge that is strong in what you know, then you should avoid trying to be publicized or to be famous, because this is a death trap. This is a killer. When all what you care about is how many followers do I have? How many views did I get? How many platforms recognize me or invite me for conferences, and you think at the end of the day that I am. You never quote a sheikh or a scholar or an imam. All what you say is from your own pocket so that you are not labeled. But talking about the religion of Allah is a serious thing. And by Allah, if I'm talking about myself, if I was not pushed to teach and address such issues, I would not have done that. Believe me, there's nothing better than being unknown, being idle, worshipping Allah on your own, staying with your family, having quality time, do whatever you want instead of this. But unfortunately, we are forced and pushed to do this, which we hope and pray to Allah that we're sincere in what we're doing and that we only seek Allah's face by it. But at the end of the day, a person who does not have sufficient knowledge should not place himself as a bridge between the edges of hellfire where people cross over his body. They ask you, they come and ask me, what's the ruling on this? What's the ruling on that? If you don't know, just simply say, I don't know. No harm done. But to feel embarrassed that, no, I have to give a fatwa, I have to give an answer. When you're not qualified, maybe most of the times you're right, but there are times that you're wrong and you have no justification for being wrong, except that you were forced to speak. No, nobody forces you to speak, akhi. Therefore, be careful from this. May Allah Azza wa Jal make me and you among those who listen to the good speech and fair speech and follow the best of it.